Then I started going back to the doctors in my 40s, and basically they tell you that you're stuck with this condition for life, but you'll have to stay on these meds for the rest of your life. I came home to kind of sort things out and get ready to go up to a mountain, sit in my car, and end my life. And before I did that, I ran into that's what really kills me now is that, like, there's a solution, and it's so easy. It's so damn easy.
Hey there, carnivores. It's Dante here at Ferrigno Freedom. I just wanted to come and remind you to check out vintagetradition.com for some of the best quality tallow based soaps and balms and chapstick. They got some really great products. Katie and I both use their products on a regular basis. Get 10% off when you use my discount code Dante, again at vintagetradition.com. Now, on with the show. So tell me about a little bit about what brought you to carnivore. What was your background? What was going on beforehand? And I mean, I know you told me a little bit about it, but just start from the beginning and kind of give everyone an idea what brought you here.
Yeah, so I experienced some pain during my teenage years. I wasn't sure what that was all about in my joints. And by the time I graduated college, I was diagnosed with psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis. So after that, I was put on steroid creams and all these different topicals that were just really nasty, full of steroids and stuff. And, they would help and things would disappear a little bit on your skin, and then they'd come back. And you literally have to constantly, like 3 4 times a day, keep putting this stuff all over you. And it was greasy and just nasty. So I kind of gave up on that. Everything got worse. Kept getting worse. Went back to the doctors a few times. They kept wanting to put me on biologics and injections, hormone suppressant, or I don't know. Yeah, just suppressing immune system suppressing drugs. And I refused. I refused to go that route. And so I got all the books on psoriasis and how to heal yourself, and basically everything was, eat vegetables, don't eat red meat, um,
Mm.
stuff like that. So I stayed on the vegetable kick and tried to eat as healthy as possible. I did tons of green juice. I got, uh, let's see, from spinach. I went to the hospital twice from kidney stones. So that was all caused from spinach. Um, yeah, vegetables just apparently I can't tolerate them in any form. So as I got older, um, it got worse and worse and worse. Chronic pain, covered in psoriasis and plaque psoriasis, always itching, always bleeding, no sleep, depression, suicidal thoughts had been with me my whole life. They would just show up randomly throughout the day. So yeah, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and I just kept fighting through, and saying, I'll try another day and see if I can make it. And then I started going back to the doctors in my 40s, and same thing. They just wanted to keep giving me awful drugs, and there wasn't any change in what they were saying. And basically, they tell you that you're stuck with this condition for life, and we can put you on these meds, and they will calm it down or suppress it, but you'll have to stay on these meds for the rest of your life. And I didn't want to deal with any of that. I was tired of living in pain. And so, yeah, the last doctor visit, he wanted to inject me twice a month with 2 injections into my stomach. And the side effects were suicidal thoughts, depression, a bunch of other. And I said, Doc, I already had, like, you're literally going to kill me with this. I said, I can't take this. Said, so I'm not going to let you kill me, and I'm going to go home and handle this on my own. and I'm going to end my life. And
Mm.
that's what I told the doctor, and I left in a rage. And I came home to kind of sort things out and get ready to go up to a mountain, sit in my car, and end my life. And before I did that, I ran into, I believe it was Michaela Peterson's TED Talk that just somehow appeared in front of my face that day. And yeah, I was in tears listening to her, and what she went through and how she had to change her eating and how it saved her life. And I didn't want to die. Um, so yeah, I went that route and just started eliminating foods one by one and fasting as much as possible. Went basically carnivore, well, animal based, and then carnivore. And then I kind of had a falling out, and through the holidays in 23, I kind of started eating really bad again and getting depressed and dealing with some relationship issues. And I started eating stuff I shouldn't, and it threw me off course, and I got really sick and really bad again. And so January 1st of 24, I went full lion, and been full lion ever since, and everything rapidly cleared. And I'd say 99% cured at this point.
Gosh,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
already
lot.
an amazing story just in a short little burst there. Tell me about psoriatic arthritis. I don't I'm not familiar with the term. I'm familiar with psoriasis, but what
So
do they say about it?
yeah,
Is it an autoimmune disease?
um, autoimmune. Basically, it's psoriasis with arthritis. So it's degenerative arthritis. So it just will get worse and worse as time goes on. Um, which it was doing. I mean, it was so hard to get out of bed. Especially after sleeping maybe an hour or two, because you're up all night spasming and kicking and in pain and itching and bleeding. And so yeah, when you're not getting any rest, and then you can barely move, and then you got to go into work and deal with a full day, and then somehow try and get home, and you're right back in bed. So basically that was my life, was bed, work, bed, and pain. Yeah, so it's the worst of the psoriasis. But there's probably 10 different or more forms of psoriasis. 3% of the world has some form. Over 125 million Americans have some form of psoriasis. So it's a huge, huge problem. And the biggest thing with it is people hide, because it's an outward, disease. And I've had people call me a leper. I've had the worst things you could imagine said to me throughout my life. And so people hide, they cover, and they don't go out. And yeah, it's a really nasty disease, and people have a hard time talking about it or opening up about it.
Yeah, I was just seeing the picture here with your legs, and they were bleeding and everything just from the. So was it like that when you were in school, even when you were in high school?
No, no, my skin was fine in high school. I just, like I said, I dealt with a lot of joint pain, and I thought it was, growing pains, and from, doing like extreme sports and stuff. But in reality, it was the beginning of the psoriatic arthritis, and because the pain that I was getting was the same that came on even worse later in life. It radiates out of your joint, like it feels like it's coming from inside your bones and radiating out in just an awful pulsing pain. But that's gone. It's a
I could see
miracle.
the look on your face. It's like being baptized or something. You're just A new person, huh?
It's a whole new life. Yeah, I mean, I went through life not giving up and trying my best, and I feel like I was robbed of 30 years of I could have done so much more. Um, yeah. And also, I was extremely introverted. Um, just because, of what the reactions from people to my skin. And so yeah, it's a whole new way of living now. I'm excited every day to be alive, and yeah, I feel amazing.
As I look through these pictures, I'm stunned at the stark difference for you and what you've been able to experience. And it was Michaela's talking about her juvenile rheumatoid arthritis that gave you hope because she
Hmm.
talked about how it worked with other autoimmune diseases, and you finally had a flash of hope for once in your life. That's
Yeah,
how
that was a miracle of hope. Yeah.
I had a similar experience in that just watching her journey gave me hope that there was something for what I was experiencing, which was a pain in my gut area, and it was caused by leaky gut, but it was affecting my mental status too. So I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
this was probably affecting you mentally too. What was your diet like? I mean, were you a careful eater before, or trying to do the right things, or
So during the daytime, I was extremely healthy. What I thought healthy and
that's right, you
careful.
mentioned juicing and stuff.
Yeah. So basically, raw vegetables was my main source of food, and then at night, when I would go into the deep depression and pain, I would kind of fix those feelings with sugary crap, right? So I was I was yin and yang. I was, whatever it wasn't working. Um, because I'd be so healthy. What I thought is I'm doing green juices. I'm eating raw vegetables every day. I can have this crap at night. But no, I was at 200 pounds when I started this, and I didn't realize how much fat I had on my body. Just I'm tall. I guess I carried it well, or whatever you say. But um, yeah, I lost 70 pounds. Um, yeah, I got down to 130. I'm at 140 now. I put on muscle, and I think 140 is a good weight. And like I feel amazing. I feel younger every day. Yeah, I feel like I'm reverse aging now.
How tall are you?
6 foot.
6 foot, 140. Wow.
Yeah, 140. I've always been slender. Like I was a slender teen.
Yeah.
Um, Never been able to really bulk up. I never really tried. Like I've never really lifted lots of weight. I do work out 20 minutes to a half hour every day now, just to keep myself. I'm 40 now. I'll be 50 in September, so got to keep it strong.
And describe to me what, like, when you started going lion diet, how long did it take for something to really like when where you saw that go away, all those spots where, I mean, walk us down
So
that
right,
path.
well, right before I did that, I had crazy flare ups because I went through 2 months of like this deep depression and eating bad again. And so I was covered again. I had a lot of progress through the fasting and through the animal based into the carnivore, but then when I relapsed, um, I yeah, man, it got so bad, and so from January 1st to January 7th, like it was like somebody just waved a wand and everything just kind of it was the craziest and fastest healing I've ever experienced, and it just kept disappearing to the point where I mean, like my whole body is there's like the tiniest little spot will pop up here and there, and I believe that's stress related or whatever. or I didn't get enough sun or vitamin D that day. But yeah, I'm in full control of this now.
So in 7 days, you said from January 1st to January 7th, that was 23. That was when you started.
That was 24.
24. Okay, so you started after your issue, and because you mentioned you got off in 23, and I was trying to
Right. I started in 23, and then I kind of relapsed at the end of 23.
because of the
With
holidays.
well, it was holidays. It was a whole bunch of stuff combined. Everything. Uh, complete loneliness, financial. Everything was just it was just rough, and so I kind of just fell off the wagon, and but I'm glad I did, because I realized how much of an effect everything I put inside me had on me. Um, I did not realize how great that would be until I really just went full lion, and that was the that was the eye opening moment there at the end of that first week of lion, where I just was like, "Holy crap! This is accelerating healing," and it's just accelerated ever since, and it hasn't stopped. Yeah.
So when you
So
started in 23, you were doing full carnivore, like whatever. You had cheese and things like that too, or what was your diet
I
when you first started before you went lion?
I was so I started, yeah, fasting 20 hours a day, and I had a 4-hour window for eating. And I was doing animal based, so still having fruit and meat and dairy, and then I was doing carnivore with dairy, and the realization really was that dairy definitely is one thing I can't do along with all the vegetables, because I've tried to reintroduce things very gently throughout the last since January 1st of 24, and instantly I'll see if I react within 24 hours. So yeah, I really, as of now, I really can't tolerate anything, but meat and seafood.
So you're able to eat seafood. Well, that's good because
Yeah, thank God. Yeah, I can tolerate crab, which is like one of my favorite things ever. I grew up on the East Coast, like hand crabbing for blue crabs, with my grandfather. So yeah, to be able to tolerate that is wonderful. I just wish they weren't so expensive, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, that me too. I'd probably try to bring those things back in more, but it's like I don't know. It's better for me just to stick with what's working, and for me, Lion Diet has been working too because anytime I bring, it seems like even if I bring back something like pork, which is not on
Hmm.
the diet, usually in the form of sausage or bacon, and I think it's because they're cured that it affects me that way. But I mean, it'll knock me back into where I'm gaining weight again, and then I'll start having brain fog and stuff like that. So yeah, straight lion diet seems to be the key for me. But if I can find some of those things I can bring back in, it would be nice. And
Right.
I've always been allergic to fish, apparently, according to my allergist. Although I don't know how that works. I hear your allergies come and go, so I don't know. But I kind of liked finding out I was allergic to fish because I always used to find excuses to not eat fish because I always hated it anyway. But I love shellfish. I love crab. I
Yeah.
haven't had any in a long time though because I've just been so careful making sure I don't stray off. But at the same time, like the easy things that are around, do you live with somebody?
No, no, I don't, which I guess makes it much easier. Yeah, because when I had a roommate, and that was during COVID too, and we were like ordering takeout every day, and I was just gaining weight like a madman. So yeah, end of COVID, I hit that 200-pound mark.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
It can be tough when you got somebody else in the house who's eating, and even if they're eating decent, like my wife and kids, a lot of times I'd make them eggs and bacon in the morning, and eventually it was like, "Ah, I'll have a piece of bacon or I'll have a little bit of eggs, and the whites get to me or the store-bought eggs get to me, but it's just like it's tough when you find out you've got to narrow it down so much, but at the same time, the feeling that you get from it when you get
Nothing
broken free.
tastes as good as healthy feels.
Exactly.
And that's every time I see something where I'm like, oh man, I wish I could I just have to repeat that to myself. And yeah, like the other day, it was someone's birthday at work, and there was like hundreds of donuts. And I'm like, man, those look amazing. Beautiful colors, all shiny and smell good. And watching everybody and enjoying it. And I'm just thinking they're just poisoning themselves. I
Yeah.
can't do that to myself. Why would I do that to myself?
Yeah. Well,
So
you
it
know,
is what
understand
it
why
is.
yeah, you understand why it's like that because that's the cheap stuff. I think
Yeah.
that's why that stuff is so cheap is it's not meant to be eaten to begin with. It's nobody ever brings steak to those things, do they?
No, they sure don't. And then yeah, you wonder why the government subsidizes corn syrup to all these soda companies for free, Jeez.
Yeah, that makes it even cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's so much profit off of the sick. And I started writing a book this morning in my head, and I think I'm gonna write it. I have no idea how to write a book. But I have no idea how to do any of the things I'm doing right now, but I'm figuring it out along the way, I guess.
One of the things I've found is that the way to get anything done is just to get started doing it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to writing, you start and you keep going. I've been lazy about that too. I've had a few people ask me about writing a book, and I'm like, I don't know. Do I really have enough to fill a book with? But if you're pouring your heart out, you're probably going to be able to do that. So what's
Yeah.
life like now? I mean, do you have any struggles with any of the foods out there? Do you have a hard time at all with it, or
From time to time I have cravings. And I get some tough ones, but I'll fight it till the end because I know what'll happen if I give in. So yeah, I'm really strict, and it sucks that I have to be this strict, and it's tough, and it's you know um, it impacts things differently as far as your life goes and socially and whatnot. But I wouldn't trade it for the old life I had. No way.
so how do you know when it's a craving as opposed to just being hungry?
Um, I feel like I drool a little. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like if I smell pizza, I feel like I drool a little. Pizza was like one of my favorite foods of all time, and I feel like when I smell that, I'll catch a piece, and I'm like, okay, look, you can't do that. So, yeah, I know better, and I won't go back to that life.
I've heard that it's a craving when it's something specific that you want to eat, whereas if it's hungry, it's like anything will do. You
Right.
you don't care what it is if it's hunger, but if it's a craving, then it's pizza or ice cream or
Yeah, the
whatever it
cravings are
is.
very specific. Hmm.
And pizza is one that's easy to justify because you'll sit there and look at it and you'll say, well, pepperoni is meat and cheese is animal.
Right. Yeah, but I can't imagine how sick I'd be. And that's what I keep telling myself. Like, just think about how sick you will be for minimum of the next week. Just think about the progress that'll go in reverse. So that's how I deal with it. But yeah, I definitely was addicted to carbohydrates in one form or another for sure, and dairy, because both of them were extremely hard to stop.
So you told your doctor that you were gonna, you're killing me, and I'm gonna go take care of it myself. I mean, you made that clear that you were gonna end your life, and he
I
let you out of
absolutely
his
did.
office.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, the guy knew, and I posted this today. I posted a little snippet today on my Instagram of a commercial that I saw for one of these drugs that they were going to give me, and I just clipped the part where it said suicidal thoughts, blah blah, and he knew that I was depressed, and he knew I was suicidal. So for him to then hand me these two injections and say, "Here you go, start today," when he knew the side effects, because I asked him what the side effects I needed, obviously. And that's when the anger, like, I was extremely angry that day at this man as he just sat there offering me death.
Hmm. Have you
And
been back to see him since?
no, 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 I thought about going in there, and I just don't think it would do any good. I mean, everyone in that office is obese. Everyone in that office is sick. All the people that work there, the doctor, they're all unhealthy. And I don't think even me going in there butt naked and showing them uh, that I'm 100% clear would have any change on their thought.
I think that's what's the most heartbreaking thing is that there's a lot of doctors I've run into that are like that, that they're just so set in whatever their system is. And basically, it's what the pharmaceutical companies have told them to do and they've trained them to do. And that it's as long as they do that, then they're going to keep the money flowing in. And it
Well,
really
that's
doesn't
the thing.
matter.
It comes down to money, and all of this comes down to money, and and the more they can keep you at a level of, let's see, healthy but not healthy, to where you're still going to them every week and you're still getting your meds and you're still eating the food, so everyone's still getting the money and you're still barely surviving, you're still kind of making it through your day healthy, and you think you're healthy. But if people could really feel what real healthy feels like, away from all the drugs and all the medicine, like, this is something I prayed for every night of my life, was to feel normal. I literally, I would just be in tears all night asking God to feel normal. I want to know, like, one day. I just asked for one day. Like, it's all I ever wanted. Just give me one day of what feeling normal would be like. And I can't tell you, normal is the most amazing feeling ever. To just be normally healthy and not sick at all is just, it's a whole, it's just a rebirth. It's amazing.
I can see it hits you pretty hard, man.
It's, yeah, it's hard. It's hard because there's so many other people like going through that, and that's what really kills me now, is that, like, there's a solution, and it's so easy. It's so damn easy. And that's why I started this GoFundMe and this fundraiser to try and create a place where, if you're stuck in that deep hole where I was, and you want to come to a place and spend 3 weeks to, like, kickstart a new life, like, I want to help people do that, and that's my new mission.
So tell my audience about that. Where is that at and how do they find it? And
Well, it's in my mind at the moment.
uh,
um there is an actual fundraiser out now, GoFundMe, which, I'll give you the link if you could put it up.
yeah,
That Cool. So yeah, basically what I'm looking to do is find a piece of property in the Southwest in Colorado area, somewhere in the Rocky Mountains, um, where I can have 3 to 5 small bunkhouses that people can come and spend up to a month at a time if they need to, and where I can guide people through this process, because that's what would have helped me more than anything, especially through that point where I relapsed on the whole diet and everything. I was alone. I needed anyone, and I had nobody, and I needed someone on a daily basis. Like right there in front of me, and I want to offer that to people. So that's my mission.
Well, I'll sure be sure to put that link in the description for anybody who's looking to help support what you're trying to do. That way you can follow the mission that Lord's put you on here. Seems like
Absolutely.
I mean, how strange that in the middle of a moment where you were ready to end your life, and then right at that moment you catch the right YouTube video at the right moment. I mean,
Miracle. It's only one word.
yeah.
Is miracle. And Michaela is an angel, and I don't I don't know if she realizes how many people she saved, and then the effect of those people being able to reach out to people, and it spreads, and goodness can spread like wildfire. Uh, so yeah,
Well, that's
I'm
why
on a
I'm
mission
glad you're
from
here.
God, and I won't stop. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad you're
yeah.
here to be able to share it with my audience, and I know you spoke with Carrie recently, and uh,
I have 3 more podcasts in the next week. One of which I'm flying to Nashville on a red eye, doing the podcast, and getting back on a plane and flying back here the same day.
is that
So
Dr. Kiltz by any chance?
it is.
I'm
It
actually
sure
seeing
is.
him that same week.
Are you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And then Carrie texted me the other night at like 10 p.m. and was like, "Dude, you got to check your email." And a very very amazing person wants to have me on their podcast, and so I'm not going to say anything yet. But yeah, it's just I think the ball is rolling, and I'm not going to stop.
Well, awesome. Now, if it's who I think it is, that's even a bigger audience. So that's going to get the word out there because there's
It's a
people
big
out there that are they're dealing with what you're doing, with what you're
yeah,
dealt with, and they
yeah.
feel like
They
there's
don't
no
have
hope.
to.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they. I guarantee you, they feel like there's no hope, and I guarantee you that they're tired of the suffering, and I'm sure in the back of their mind they don't want to take the drugs. Um, and I really, man, I just want to scream to the entire world that this is extremely easy compared to living with hell. So, I mean, you can either choose to be the most amazing person ever just by eating meat, or you can choose to stay in that hell. And I don't want people there. So I'm going to just fight and keep doing this. And I really appreciate being able to come on here and spread the word even more. So thank you.
So you're still planning on this? You're trying to figure out how to put this together. This thing where you would do
Yeah,
it, and
I'm looking for properties, and I'm talking to different companies that make these small, now inexpensive, like tiny homes, basically. Um, yeah, so I'm just trying to put all the pieces together. I don't have a clue what I'm doing, first of all. I This is all new to me. So, um, but I just feel like I have to do it. It doesn't exist and it needs to exist. And if I don't try, then you know who will. So I'm going to figure it out along the way.
Your passion and experience should carry you a long way. You definitely want to look into the laws of your state. I found out something weird the other day about Florida that I didn't know is that you got to be careful about giving somebody a diet plan or something like that unless you're a licensed nutritionist or dietitian, that it's illegal to
Right.
diet plan in a business of any kind, even if you're not charging for the service itself. And I thought, how
Yeah,
stupid.
there's a lot of weird things like that. And yeah, I'm in California now. I want to run this in Colorado and get out of California. Um, and so there's definitely a lot involved in trying to figure out the business plan and raising the money and finding the property. And but yeah, I just feel like the help that I need will be there when I need it. And um it's a mission that I won't stop until it's there and it's real.
What do you do now?
I am a professional photographer. I'm a musician, and I also work in the legal cannabis industry as like my regular full time job, processing pounds and pounds of cannabis on a daily basis. um, but yeah, the main that's my main source of income. But yeah, photography has been my life's passion, and I've gotten to do some amazing stuff with photography over the last 30 years. And then since I healed, even more, like I got my first huge album cover shoot for Ice Cube's album that he dropped this year, the biggest photo gig of my life. And that was like the thing that I've been pursuing this past 30 years, was to get to that point with my photography. And for him to call me and ask me to shoot his album cover was just the biggest honor in the world. And that wouldn't have happened because I wouldn't have been here. So yeah, the things that have happened since healing and like how my life is just getting better and better, it's just the biggest blessing. Yeah. And I also like I make a cream that's on the market with the company that I work for, that I started for myself to relieve my own pain, which is THC and CBD based topical cream. And so now I'm also experimenting with making tallow cream with CBD, and seeing if I can make something new for people without the THC, and just have like a tallow CBD cream for people. So that's something new I'm working on in my kitchen.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have a website for anything like that, do you?
No, no, and like my cream you can only buy in California because it's through the legal cannabis market
I see.
right now. But I do have a new company idea in mind for tallow products that I want to start. Um, I just have so much I'm ready to do with this whole, I mean, beef and cow thing is just amazing. Like I had no idea. I always craved meat when I smelled it, and I was like, "Oh, I can't have that; it's bad for me." And on the back of my mind, like anytime I could get it, I would, like I'd get it. And like if I was at a barbecue or something, I'd like steal a burger and kind of hide and eat it. But yeah, I love the fact that like I can make a cream out of tallow, um, and soap and things like that. So I definitely want to have that as part of as part of the therapy too, at the retreat, is for people to be able to make some creams and create make soap and take it home with them and have this new thing that, so that's definitely a lot of things that I want to involve at the retreat. Art therapy, equestrian therapy, music therapy, um, just so many things that can help people just kind of release all the crap that they've been through in their life and start afresh.
Yeah, because in 7 days you saw a huge difference. You said, right? So you imagine if you can get them there for a week or a month, even you might be able
Yeah,
to totally turn them around and send them home with a whole new perspective and how to go through and knowing how to make their own soaps and stuff.
that's exactly the plan. And to be able to teach them how to cook also this way for themselves on a daily basis. So I had to learn how to cook meat. I didn't, because I barely ever cooked meat. It would be like ground beef in a spaghetti sauce. Um, would be the extent of my meat cooking, or ground beef for some tacos. The same thing, ground beef, and then that was it. That's the extent of my meat cooking knowledge. And now I'm expert level meat cook.
So what do you
So
eat? What's your daily
basically, so here's
cycle?
what I get every month. I get like 20 pounds of ground beef, and then I get like 30, 35 pounds of different cuts. And so I just kind of switch it up. And every night I'll take something out of the freezer and put it in the fridge. I get home and whatever's thawed out, that's what I eat that day. Or I'll put something maybe in the slow cooker before I go to work, like a big chuck roast or something. And
Hmm.
just throw that in there with water and salt, come home, and that's shredded beef, which is amazing. Um, Flat top. I love cooking on smash burgers, and then my grill. I love cooking on my grill. I go camping all the time, so taking big hunks of meat out into a camping trip and eating that out in nature, just it's just nothing better.
The
So yeah,
charcoal
that's the kind of
grill.
experience I want to give to people, and have them walk away with just being a different person and realizing that life can be amazing and pain free and depression free.
So you do it every day and you don't use an air fryer?
No, I don't. Um, I've thought about getting one, uh, but yeah, no, I use my cast iron skillet. I use my grill with real charcoal, with real wood charcoal, and I use my flat top and yeah, and my crock pot.
Yeah. Crock pot's a staple for me too. I don't know what
Yeah,
I'd do without the air fryer though, because I was never a griller. At least you learned how to do that. I'm learning how on this infrared grill, but uh yeah, they get real hot, like 1500
it's like
degrees.
1,500 degrees.
Yep. And it does
Yeah,
it in
see, I'd
just a few.
like to have one of those as well.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
look into them. They're a lot of fun. I used to say I hate grilling because really I didn't hate grilling. It was the cleaning. Like you got to clean everything when you start and you got to clean everything when you finish, and it's constant scrubbing and it never seems to come off. And I thought, why am I going through all this? But
Right.
yeah, those infrared grills, they're a lot easier to keep clean. They're not, that you still got to clean them, but it's uh it's not a lot of parts with gas tubes and stuff that you got get full of gunk and things like that. Like I used a propane grill for a while, and every time the tubes would get full of gunk and things like that, and then it's like, well, geez, now it's
Hmm.
like practically I got to throw this thing away. But either that or spend hours cleaning it. So, well, that's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
cool that
why I
you
bought the
with.
flat top so I could cook outside and have less splatter from cooking, trying to make burgers and a cast iron skillet on your stove. It's just, everything was covered in grease in the apartment. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So I ended up getting the flat top, and I have it outside next to the grill, and so I have beautiful outdoor cooking options, which
So when
I
you
cook
say flat
outside.
top, Is that like a
Like
griddle?
hmm yeah,
Okay.
like yeah. So you can chop up steak on there, like as if you were making a cheesesteak. Because I am originally from the Philadelphia area, so I make pretend cheesesteaks now. So I just slice ribeye real thin and then chop it up like I'm chopping up the cheesesteak, and just eat it like just the meat without the cheese and the ketchup and the onions like I used to have it. But yeah, that's I love the flat top, and it keeps all the grease out of the house.
I think some of the things we miss about those old foods aren't the foods themselves. It was more the experience that we had at the time of eating them. Do you
Mm,
ever get that? Like it's you grew up in Philly, so it was a Philly thing.
absolutely. Holidays were huge in my family, and we're big Polish holidays. So all kinds of food on the table, and yeah. So holidays hit me hard, and yeah, like certain things, certain places. Like if you smell, if you're at I photograph a lot of festivals, and I catch the whiff of like a funnel cake or something. And I made funnel cakes for years, as one of my jobs as a kid at the beach, and I must have eaten thousands of those stupid things.
That used to
Um,
be one of my favorites.
Nostalgia smells get you for sure. Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah, or just the thought of the food.
yeah, but yeah, I don't. Anytime those thoughts or the little drool comes out, I just tell myself the same thing, and nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. You don't want to do that. It's poison. And that's it.
So do you have any family, like parents or brothers or sisters or anything? Did they think you were crazy going this route or
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, my mom actually was the one who kind of kick-started like where to like how to kind of wean off of things, and she got me into the fasting thing when I told her like this is what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and do this lion diet. And so she kind of helped me wean down, and she also introduced me to Carrie's page. So if it wasn't
Oh,
for my mom, I would have found Carrie. Yeah, so that's how she's like, you got to email this guy. Like, he's amazing. You got to check out his channel. Like, I was like, all right, let me, and then him and I connected, and that was great. And I got my first interview out with him over a year ago now. And so my mom has been a big supporter, and she has like all kinds of different arthritis issues, and autoimmune issues. And then she's now carnivore, mostly carnivore, and she's off all her meds for the first time in like 40 years, 50 years. Yeah, so she's doing amazing. Um, I I have family that are vegan that have a hard time with this. Um, One of them is waking up and realizing some things, so that's cool. Um, I've had friends that have been really supportive, um, and I've also had friends that just laughed at it, think I'm crazy. But yeah,
well,
yeah,
they knew you
those,
before when you had the psoriasis and everything.
oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's the crazy part is when people get on me about this, and they realize like, and they know the before me, and I'm like, why would you want me? Like, I was dead. I was a dead man walking. Why would you want that for me? Like, are you that really concerned about a cow? That it's crazy. So yeah, that's kind of weird that people would rather. I feel like some people would rather see me in the old state than have me be eating animals.
That reminds me, I think the saying goes, it's easier to fool people than it is to convince them they've been fooled.
Hmm.
Have you ever mentioned to your vegan friends about what do they, what does it take to have a field of corn or a field of whatever they're growing What does it take to keep the animals out of there?
No, no, no. Haven't gone there. Tread lightly around the vegans.
Yeah, I know they can be rough, but if they're actually being rational or reasonable, and you ask them, what does it take to raise a field of whatever it is that you eat, and they realize how many hundreds or even thousands of animals have to die so that the farmers can keep that protected, so that they can harvest and sell that to you. We
And
talk.
poison the soil.
Yes, exactly. The stuff that they spray on it, that just adds to the
I mean,
problem.
it goes into the root of the vegetables,
But I
yeah,
guess
I
I
don't
was
know.
kind of approaching their ideology perspective, where it's like, I'm doing it because I want to save the animals. And I'm like, yeah, but.
Yeah, you're not saving animals that way at all, for sure. Because yeah, like you said, the crops, thousands of so many different species of animals disappear because of planting crops. Yeah, and I'm eating what, 1 cow a year, 2 cows a year, I think, max.
Yeah, that's
I
what I
mean,
guesstimated once. It was about two a year.
yeah. So, you know, God strike me down right now if that's wrong.
Nothing
Didn't think
happened,
so.
thank goodness.
Didn't think so.
And then also,
Yeah.
what's the other side of it? What would happen to cows if they weren't being protected by the farmers until they were ready for slaughter? Cows in the wild don't do too well.
No, 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 they don't. So yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I, it's tough. It's tough with the vegans. Um, and I get it. I was there. I was, well, not vegan. I didn't eat like the weird vegan food, but I ate just vegetables, like a normal person, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. There's like the vegan thing. There's so much processed seed oil, sugar eating in that whole camp. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, like, do you ever wonder why you're bloated and farting and sick and your brain's fogged? And like, you ever think about that? Yeah. Yeah, the bloating, man. I used to be so bloated. I saw a Facebook post. You ever go through the Facebook memories? Um, and I saw a Facebook post that I made like 15 years ago that said, "Good Lord, I'm so gassy all day, all night, every day. I'm gassy. Freaking vegetables. I'm living off of vegetables and beans and stuff. Like, but I always felt that bloat and always just uncomfortable. And to feel like that, just flat, good feeling here, like in your gut, like, oh, it's amazing. More comfortable.
We touched on the fact that the thing with the doctors had to do with money, but at the same time, I'd be willing to pay a doctor if he actually had something to offer, but they didn't have anything to offer you and they still wanted top dollar. So that's where the problem I think arises is when they're lying to you about what they're offering, because what they're offering are not solutions. But when you go into a doctor's office, that's what you're searching for, and that's what they're
Yeah.
claiming to
Well,
have.
yeah. You're there for help. You're there for a solution to fix your problem. And like, for this guy to know that I was in that condition, I was in that state of mind, and to offer me what he offered me was literally like giving a heroin addict a full needle and saying, "Here, bro, just do a little bit of this at a time today. Here's a full needle for you." No, what heroin addict's going to do that? They're going to shoot that whole damn thing up, right? And that's how it felt to me. Like, you literally just want to inject me with death right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't want someone else killing me.
It made me think of something that I just wanted to share, maybe with you, but also with the audience out there, because I had a friend of mine ask, like, he was down in Tampa the time that I went down and met with Dr. Kiltz, and he had this big event for raising money for Healing Humanity. But I
Mm-hmm.
guess they didn't make it clear enough or something that it was raising money for Healing Humanity, or the fact that he personally donated over $100,000 to Healing Humanity to be able to make that video. And when you see that they're charging a premium on some of these things where you come to these events, that's what he was raising money for. You know, he was raising money to get the word out because that Carnivore documentary can get this information out to millions of people.
I can't even thank Carrie enough for what he's doing. I mean, this guy is, and he's nonstop. He just doesn't stop. I wish I could do what he does as far as like the social media aspect and the just constantly. I'm still trying to deal with like putting my whole story out to the public, honestly. Because like you saw, I break down and it's hard for me to. I get emotional. It's hard for me to do this, but like, yeah, what he's doing um, for this movement, it's gonna be so big when that movie comes out. He's gonna save so many lives, and God bless him. Yeah, he's amazing. I just can't wait for this documentary. And I got a lot of friends in Hollywood. A lot of them sitting right there behind me. Um, but I'm gonna do everything I can to help him get that out there and spread the word with that. Um, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing you in Nashville. I don't know if we'll bump into each other, but it's a good possibility.
I'll be there Saturday. I'll be there Saturday morning, and I was gonna try and stay for the Sunday meetup, but I just couldn't. It was just too much to get rental cars and hotels. I just couldn't afford to do it right now. So that's why I literally I'm taking the red eye. My interview's at 9 a.m. I get off the plane at 6 a.m. and then I get back on the plane at 2 p.m. So
Oh, well, I
that's the
guess
only
I'll
way.
miss you.
Yeah, it's the only way I could afford to do it. It's just, but I didn't want to wait. First of all, 5 months for the next available slot with him, because I'm like, I'm on this mission to hurry and spread this word, and I didn't want to do like the 5 a.m. live stream. I feel like if I can sit down with him, it'll be a lot better, and we'll get a better conversation out of it. So I'm really excited to go out there, and then yeah, I have another podcast lined up for Monday, and then another one lined up for Thursday. So it's going to be a busy week of spreading the good word, and yeah, this is just awesome to be able to reach so many people.
Yeah, so the thing we're talking about is the when he said Sunday there's an event. It's in Yuma, Tennessee, and it's
Mm-hmm.
another Healing Humanity event, very similar to the one that Dr. Kilt's put on down in Tampa. And they've been traveling around the country, and it's all about raising money for the documentary that's going to be coming out. And I'll be there as well. So it's gonna be a big time, man. I wish you could be there for that part of
I
the.
know. I tried so hard to figure out how to do it, and it just I couldn't work it out budget wise. Is this your first Healing Humanity meetup?
This would be my second one after the one that I did down in Tampa because it's driving distance. I just don't fly.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
flown and I hate it every time. I hate having
Yeah.
to kiss the ring of the TSA and accept that I live in a
Oh,
police state every time I go. And then when I hear
so
Boeing is having all these problems putting planes together and stuff, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna
so
trust my driving skills, even though I got in a wreck on the last trip.
oh god.
I'd still rather
Yeah,
drive.
that it's yeah, I mean, you got to go to them. I drove 7 hours to my first one. It was in Arizona, and yeah, like you got to go to them. That was the first time I actually met any other carnivores in real life,
Yeah.
and that was just a few months back. And yeah, like these, if you get a chance to go to a meetup, a Healing Humanity meetup with all these amazing speakers, you have to go. It's just a great time, and then you guys all go out to dinner afterward and eat meat, and I definitely support that. And you guys, whoever can make it to them, go to them because you'll learn a lot, and you'll meet a lot of great people that are all on a similar journey. So
Well,
yeah,
I'm glad
do
you
it.
said that. without any prompting from me either, because it's something that I don't know if I can put into words enough. I didn't give it enough credit. I kind of thought, yeah, that's for people who are sycophants. That's for people who are a little bit too nuts. But then I went to one and I said, now I get it. Because when you're doing it all by yourself, it doesn't feel the same as when you start to work with people or just meet with people who are experiencing the same kind of benefits that you are. And it's
Yeah,
like it supercharges you, it supercharges your spirit.
absolutely. It's like getting a whole new family out of the blue that loves you unconditionally because you're all going through the same thing. And yeah, it's nothing but good.
Yeah.
It's nothing but good. So yeah, Carrie, don't stop ever. You're amazing, and I can't wait to be part of the docu series.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if some kind of weird miracle happens and you wind up getting to stay for that event somehow. I don't know. I'm going to pray for it though.
Weirder things have happened, but yeah. Well, I know there's definitely we're gonna he's planning one out in California, in Southern California, at some point. So I'm looking forward to that because I haven't met any local carnivores out here. Um, yeah, the meetups are awesome. I want to get to as many as possible. I know, I guess Vegas. I should be able to do Vegas and possibly Washington. So yeah,
Oh,
I'm gonna get up there and speak at some point at one of these, and that's one of the things I definitely want to do is more public speaking in front of people that need to hear my story. So yeah, just do as much as I can.
that's awesome. Well, hey man, I appreciate you being able to come on. What would you leave anybody with today? Somebody who's maybe in a position where you were before? Where do they start for you? I mean, where would you tell them to start?
I send everyone to liondiet.com and to Homestead Hal's YouTube channel, and to Dr. Anthony Chafee, um, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Kiltz. Definitely look up these people. They will help you in this process. Or reach out to me at Carnivore Healing Retreat on Instagram. I literally talk to people every single day on there and answer questions. And I don't care how many emails I get a day. I don't care how many questions I get. I don't care what the questions are. I will try and answer them. And yeah, I just want to help as many people as I can. So um, don't be scared and seek out seek out these people, seek out these carnivores, seek out these doctors because they're full of knowledge.
Is that Carnivore Healing Retreat all one word or is it spaced out?
Yeah, it's got the underscores, carnivore
Underscores.
underscore healing underscore retreat.
Okay. I'm not an
Yeah,
Instagram expert. I'm on there, but
I know.
want to make sure
Social
people can
media is
find
such
it.
a pain for me, but yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Is that what your GoFundMe is also? GoFundMe at dot carnivore healing retreat or something like that? Or you don't know? The
um,
link is really long.
I I believe I created the the GoFundMe page to say GoFundMe.Carnivore Healing Retreat. Um, I don't know. I've never tried to see if that actually works. I do have a link in my bio on my Instagram page um, for the GoFundMe, and then you'll have a link under there as well. I'm sure. So
Yep.
yeah, but if you do a search for Carnivore Healing Retreat, it'll probably come up on GoFundMe. I would assume. I hope.
Cool. I just wanted to get it, some of it in the video because some people, you'd be surprised. I get a lot of folks that they don't, they can't even find the description of the video because YouTube can be a little confusing depending on which device you're using. And
Yep.
So I
Yeah,
wanted
'cause
to
on
try
your
to get
phone
it.
sometimes you can't see. You have to find where it says, expand all this to get the extra information. And if I don't have my glasses on, a lot of times I don't see any of the crap on my phone.
Yeah.
So
So if
yeah,
you look in the
just
description to this video, if you're looking at a phone or something like that, it's usually right underneath the picture. It'll say comments, and you can see the comments there. But right above that is usually the description, right in between a little small space. And when you click on
right.
it, click expand. But that way people can
Yeah,
find that information that I'm going to have posted in the description. And man, it was really cool getting to meet you, Lash.
absolutely. Well, I hope that we'll get to meet in person at one of these Healing Humanity meetups for sure, and I can thank you in person for this because yeah, this has been great. I appreciate it a lot.
Well, your story is very compelling, especially with the pictures. And I'm going to put some of those up during the beginning part that, people who have already watched this have already seen it by then. But that way, is there anything on there that you want me not to include in those pictures you sent?
No, yeah, for the first time in my life, I'm an open book for the world to see, and I never thought I would be able to be this out and open about something as crazy as what that was. So yeah, yeah, put them out there. Let people see. Let
Okay.
them.
All
Yeah.
right, brother. Well, hey, man,
Thank
once
you so much.
again, thanks for coming on. I'm going to have you hang around for a second while I finish this up. Folks, thanks for joining us today. This was Stephen. What was your last name? Lash? I can't even
Lash,
see the screen.
Lashbrook.
Lashbrook. I've just gotten used to calling you Lash ever since the very
That's
beginning.
where the nickname comes from. Yeah.
Yep. Well, again, it's just been great having him on today. Folks, if you're interested in knowing more, or if you have any of that type of stuff that he was dealing with, like psoriatic arthritis or psoriasis that's as bad as that was, or any type of psoriasis, you should definitely check out his Instagram page. And for those of you who feel like you want to open up your purse and help out with what he's trying to do, go to his GoFundMe link. I'll have that in the description. And we'll see you guys next time. Hang around, Lash.
Thank you. Absolutely.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?
I wanted to try out this new skincare product that I bought on Amazon called Vintage Tradition. The whole food of skincare, a little goes a long way. As opposed to using chemical-based cream like this that I usually use after I shave, at least all the ingredients in here are natural. This stuff really does seem to go a long way. I like it. It's definitely soothing to my skin. Vintage Tradition. Might want to give it a try. Vintage Tradition even makes products for the ladies. My wife loves the Pretty Girly Tallow Balm.
Because it feels really good. And it smells really good.
I'll put a link in the description for this. Try it out and see what you think. I'll see you guys next time.